Hey everybody, thanks for coming to hang out for a little bit. I've got some thoughts, some basically pros and cons that I'm going to share with you about how I feel about this Brick 87 board from EPOMAKER. I, as you know, I really prefer the Keychron boards. Those are my favorites, and most of my videos are about Keychron boards, but I saw somebody that took a really beautiful picture of their Brick 87 and posted that on Reddit, and it looked like it was AI, and it was in a good way. It just didn't look like it was a real keyboard. It looked like it was a spaceship, and I saw it, and I just knew that I had to have it. I wanted to put certain keycaps on it. That's really what this hobby comes down to sometimes, is finding the right board that matches the keycaps that you want, or vice versa. So I wanted to put on a certain keycap set, and it did work. It looked awesome, and I'll show you some pictures right here, right now. The keycap set is the Godspeed keycap set. I have the MT3s, and I have the Cherry Profile. They are a little bit different, but I've got them both on at different times. But here, as you can see, these are the Cherry Profile. They do look a little different, and just in the font, it's a little bit smaller and tighter, and it's in the corner as opposed to the middle. But these MT3s are a little bit lighter in color, and they're all caps. The font is different itself, and it's in the middle versus off to the side here. So these keycaps are really wildly different, but the words are the same. Cutoff is still backspace, but they just have a real softer look to them with a lighter color. And I love the MT3 profile. I love the way that these look on this keyboard, but I also wanted to try these because of the novelty keycaps that I have for this set. I wanted to see what these were going to look like here, and I'm not disappointed. I think this looks awesome. So what I want to do is go through some of my pros and cons here. I like this board. I think it's pretty cool, and I've done a lot of work to really make it the way that I really like it. Taken it apart maybe 5 or 6 times. If you want to take it apart, the best thing to do is take off this strip first, and then just start prying it apart right here, and then it'll just pop apart. It comes off really easily. I've seen people start to take it apart down here, and it's just seems like it's more work than necessary. So take it apart up here. Let's do some pros and cons. My pro number 1, this is cheap, an inexpensive board. Very easy to get started with the hobby with a board like this. On the EPOMAKER site, I think it might be a different story. Let's go up here. $100. It's $99 on the EPOMAKER site. But on Amazon, yeah, so check this out. On Amazon, this board costs $109, but there's a 50% discount available right now. So I got this for $55. Sweet little deal, right? Sweet little deal. I opted for the flamingo switch, which I liked okay, but I ended up switching them out for something different. And I got the gray and pink one. I just thought that looked a little bit more muted than the gray and the green one. The green just looked like it was going to be a little bit too bright. So gray and pink is what I got. Pro number 1, cheap. Number 2, the looks. I think it's pretty interesting looking. Look at that side profile and how rounded it is, and the way that this F-row is facing you in a different way. I thought that was pretty weird, but as I was typing, I noticed that I didn't really have to move my fingers nearly as much to access this F-row as you normally would have to with, look, right here. I mean, you really have to, you really have to move your fingers a lot more. You have to move your hand, your wrist, your entire arm a lot more to access a typical F-row in a TKL or a 75% or full-size board. So the fact that you could really just kind of hit the bottom of these really quickly, it's pretty sweet. And also, just like the fact that it had Lego on it. I'm a big Lego fan. I don't know that you can see all the Lego in my office here, but I also have a huge city down in the basement, as well as a wall of parts and pieces. It's my other dark side. So I really liked that it had this Lego aspect to it as well. I liked that this was moddable. I saw that some people had modified this board a little bit. It's not really built to be modified from what I could tell after I took it apart, but you can modify it, so I think that's pretty cool. But what else do I like? I like the scroll wheel. It's interesting. It's a good idea, but I don't really love the execution because I like to use a wrist rest, and when you use a wrist rest, it just you can't access the scroll wheel at all. So I mean, I'm not just resting my wrist the whole time, but I just kind of like to have that as a support structure and another accessory on my desk, and you just can't do that with this. So it's kind of cool idea. It's different than the knob, but I really like a knob, so give me a knob. What else do I have here? The tilted F-row is another thing that I have on my list, but I already talked about that. But it's so neat. They did such a good job with that. Overall, pros are a pretty good list, right? There's enough to talk about here in the positive light that you might be like, all right, let's buy this. I didn't even talk about the fact that we've got an on-off switch over here on the side. We also have the different mode selector switch on this side. We've got 2.4 gigahertz wired or Bluetooth. We do have flip-up feet, which I don't really care for. I don't really need those. And we have a 2.4 gigahertz dongle built into the bottom of the board, which is awesome. And then also it came with a lot of great accessories. I love it when people give me the Mac Key keycaps as an accessory. The cord that this comes with is really pretty nice too. I haven't even used it, but I love a good solid A to C cord. I have a lot of A ports still in my life, so it's nice to be able to use that A port. Came with three extra switches just in case I popped one out and broke it or there was a faulty switch. And then a good Keycap and switch puller, which again, I haven't used this yet. And then the Lego guy. They gave me a Lego guy. It's not really Lego, it's Lego compatible character. But I'll be putting my own Lego characters on here once I take this downstairs. This is going to be my downstairs board for my, it's more of a lair than an office down there. Okay, I want to talk about the cons. The first con I have is the way that this board sounds. It's got a super hollow sound to it because, I mean, it's all plastic, so what are you going to do about that? But maybe dampen it and put more silicone inside of it. And with the way that this is constructed with this upper angle, it's harder for them to put silicone up there. There's just a lot of hollow spaces in here. So that was my first con, but that's a con that you can fix. You can change the sound in so many ways, which I did. My second con is that it's all plastic. It just feels cheaper to me. I like to have some aluminum aspect to my board. I don't really care for so like on these first K-series boards from Keychron, they would do a plastic bottom, but then they would do this aluminum rail around the side, around the outside, around the outside. Another thing I dislike about this board is the software that you use to make any modifications to the actual lighting effects or to any part of the board. It felt really clunky to me and wasn't very user-friendly, and I lost some things that I created because I didn't save them the right way, and it just really pissed me off. I really like to use the VIA software. It's so friendly and it's so user-friendly, and it's just happy. There's a happy face there. I just love it. So I wish this board could use VIA software. There is a lag when reconnecting when I'm using Bluetooth. You gotta hit the board once to wake up the board. It connects. Sometimes you have to wait 5-10 seconds before it flashes again and you're reconnected. For that reason, I like to always keep my board plugged in. Which brings me to another con. I don't like how this plug goes up like this. It just interferes with the shelf that I keep. Here's this little shelf right here. I like to keep this and put my keyboard underneath it, but it just scrapes up against the top, and it's just going to create more and more wear and tear over time. So I wish that maybe they had used this part right here. It had the port coming out here on the flat side. There's a lot of empty space they could have used right there. So that's just my personal opinion. Another con is the scroll wheel. Again, it's okay. It's a good idea, I guess, but I just don't think it's the best execution of what they're trying to do as far as not having a knob. But I guess you gotta start somewhere. Another con, the lack of screws for disassembly. I don't like having to just pop stuff apart when I want to take it apart and look inside. It makes me feel like I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do in a bad way. I broke stuff like that when I was a kid, and I regret taking those things apart. So, I don't know. A lot of keyboards encourage you to take them apart and modify them. And that's one of the cons with this board, is I just felt like I wasn't encouraged to take it apart. That's about it. I've made a lot of modifications to make this board really cool. I've been using this board a lot more than I thought I would over the past 2 weeks. And I'm really excited that I like it as much as I like it. I'm going to unplug it just so I can type on it for a little bit and just feel good about that. I've made some really cool modifications as far as taping the back of the PCB, which wasn't super necessary with the foam that was in there, but I took that foam out. I took off the clear sheet that was in between the switches and the PCB. Ended up putting those back in, but took those out for a little bit to make that change. Taped the back of this PCB. Switched the switches a couple times. I've settled on these creamy pink ones right here. I'll show you these on Amazon. That's where I got these, of course. So the keycaps I have kept in here are the Acco V3 Creamy Purple Pros. They are a little more tactile. You don't have a tactile option when buying this keyboard. You have to go with a linear switch. So I guess that could be another con for this keyboard. But I did put these Creamy Purple Pros in, and I really like them. They're kind of like lavenders, but that creamy aspect of them. They're just like the material, the kind of like palm material that they're made of. Just gives it more of a creamy feeling to it. But for 45 of those switches on Amazon, it cost me $14. So that was a good investment, and I actually bought them twice because I like them so much. I really like those type of switches. Other changes that I made here. Told you that I taped this PCB up here as well, this little daughter board, I guess it could be. But then I ended up putting blue switches in all of these F1 through F12, just to kind of give it more of a control board, control deck kind of feel to it. See what I mean? Just even with my wrist totally rested right here. I've got my fingers in my home row here, but I can totally, fully get almost all of these. Almost all of these. But that place is really cool. I like that. The Panic is the same there. And these are the creamy purples here and here. All in all, I really like this board. I think it's really cool. I love the Lego strip, even though it's Lego compatible. It's not actual Lego. The fact that I could just put my Lego strip on top of here and now it's Lego, that's pretty cool. I saw somebody, the person who actually got me turned on to this board in the first place on Reddit, he took off this Lego strip and ended up fastening a piece of wood, a strip of wood, a strip of walnut that he stained and made a cutout for the USB-C port and really went into it. That looks really cool too. I don't know that I'm going to do that, but he really got me into this board. I probably should mention the keycaps that come on here. I have a problem with modifying the keyboard into Oblivion so that it's so far from what the actual keyboard was that it comes out of the box. So these are the keycaps that come with this keyboard originally. They are of an MDA profile, I would say. This is the space bar here. You can see, I don't know if you can see. They're kind of thick. But these sound a little bit hollow. The legend on the modifier keys is just a little bit gummy. I don't know, it's just not perfect. I'm gonna hold this up to this camera. It's just off. Maybe I'll take some pictures of this too. Looks like somebody did this at home. What else do I need to talk about? I don't think I have anything else. I'm gonna do some sound tests. $55 on Amazon right now, in 4 different colors. The green, pink, there's a lighter pink, and then there's a clear, like a black one that's pretty sweet. The reason why I got this was for these Godspeed keycaps. I wanted to see how this looked, so I made the right choice. Thanks again for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day, and look forward to connecting with you down below. Isn't that what they always say? Douchebag.